Say you're playing your favorite Game Boy Advance game, Frogger, then you decide you're too tired of that and you want to go play some Pokemon Gold. So you just jam it in and you just start playing some Pokemon Gold. And then you start playing and then you realize, oh, the battery's dead and it deleted your save data. Get mad at that game. Go play some other Frogger game. And you see that and it's running and you're like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. So then you try it in the last remaining Game Boy Color game you have. And guess what? The same thing happens. It lets you play it. Now, this isn't some Game Boy Advance trickery or some I'm accidentally pulling the batteries out. Just to show, here's the Game Boy Advance SP. We'll start out with a Game Boy Advance game. Here's Lego Star Wars. See, it's loading up, and there's the power switch. It's going dead, though. So just take it out. And there, it boots right up into a Game Boy Color game. And see, here's the game. We'll play some Pokemon Pinball. Make it big so you can see it easier. There, see it's playing. Take it out. Let's take my other Game Boy Color game, Frogger. Just slam it in there, and it works. Hot swapping. Only on the Game Boy Advance. Now, this does not work if you want to switch to a if you want to switch to a Game Boy Advance game, but most of the time, sometimes it does work if you just, it does work on a Game Boy Advance game, you just gotta keep putting it back in. Yep, see, look, it works. I honestly don't know how this works because I've never tried this before, but you can hot swap with Game Boy Color games on a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Advance SP. So it's this one's like works half the time. Yeah, see, look, here's Game Boy Color game. We take it out, put another one, and then it didn't work. Okay, there it worked that time. Let's see. Yeah. And you're annoyed with that sound, so you just go put in your game. I only have 3 Game Boy Color games to try this with, but it's worked on both Game Boys and all of my Game Boy Color / Game Boy games. These are all games that work in, I guess they both work in a Game Boy and a Game Boy Color, so I haven't been able to try it with a pure Game Boy game yet. And when that happens, you can still do it, you just keep on plugging it back in. I don't know if this works on a Game Boy Color or not, I don't know one. I only have is these 2 Game Boys. It doesn't work on a DS, this is my only working DS Lite. Well, DS with the Game Boy spot because you can't get these in. So, because it doesn't have the processor for Game Boy Color games, so I doubt it would work. And it also does not work with Game Boy Advance games either. Let's see, no, take it out. And then we put this other one in. But see, look, it's still making that horrible noise. We just put it in Game Boy Color game, works fine. Also, you can start up a Game Boy with no game in it, and just put a Game Boy Color game in. And I think I've actually managed to get it to not work this time. There's your limitation. Yeah, this is just a neat little trick in case you don't want to waste this couple seconds it takes to turn off and turn on. you can just swap Game Boy Color games. Also, it doesn't work on that. Oh, it does work there. Okay, never mind. Didn't work there before. Yeah, in case it comes up as like dusty or something. What? In case like it wants you to like restart the game cartridge or like take it out, you don't even need to turn it off. You just take it out and put it back in. Just like that. And I don't know if this is good for it or not. It seems to be working. Wow. Come on, work. There. Hold on. There. We got it working. Yeah, just repeatedly taking out, putting it back in, apparently lets you hot swap the games.